Hello, this is Heather Hoffman, and I'm having so much fun with alcohol inks that I'm back to share another tutorial. I'm using a simple color combo of limeade, patina, and turquoise, my alcohol blending solution, my Yupo paper, and my little blowing tool that I picked up on Amazon. And this time I'm going to show how to create lots of texture in your alcohol ink background. I'm starting by adding just a thin little bit of the alcohol blending solution. Then I like to take all the lids off of my different colors of alcohol ink. That way I can mix and match between colors and not have to take the lids on and off each time. So I'm starting off by just kind of putting a base color or a base little bit of each color down, starting from the outside edges and kind of getting those down, and then adding the center color and blending them together. Once I've got these all on and I've kind of used that blowing tool to move around, you notice because I didn't put a lot of the blending solution on there, it kind of tends to dry out quickly and kind of stop moving. To quickly get it moving again, you can just add another little drop of that blending solution and it'll start moving that ink again right where you place that. Wherever you add that, it's going to loosen up that color and start moving. And now that I've sort of got kind of my base color and texture down, I'm adding a little more blending solution, a few more drops of color, and I'm going to keep just moving that around with my air blowing tool. If you don't have one of these tools, you can also just use a straw and blow through. I've also done it with a heat gun, but that tends to dry it quicker, and I wanted to kind of keep the ink moving a little more. Again, I've used a straw, but I found this little tool made it so much quicker and more helpful because I didn't have to worry about accidentally spitting on my project or something like that with my straw. So, and this tool cost me about $7 on Amazon. There's lots of different options. It's designed for cleaning a lens off on a camera or delicate electronic equipment, kind of the equivalent of canned air, but you just do it by hand. So it's kind of nice and easy to do that. Can you see how the more I'm adding and building, adding a little bit of color, adding a little more blending solution, how it keeps, you end up with more and more little edges that are going to add that texture. And it's got lots of the little bubbly texture on there, and I love how the more you just keep building up and blowing it around and adding more little drops, the more and more texture you get. The nice thing about this air blowing tool is it also dries it a little bit in place because it'll keep reacting and moving until it's completely dried. So the more you blow it around like this, the more it's going to kind of dry it in place and keep it happy. So I thought I was done, and then I looked a little more and just decided to add a little bit more here and there. So about this point, I finally decided I was pretty happy with it. And since it was mostly dry, I wanted to add one more little tiny bit of texture. So I'm cleaning my space a little bit there, and I keep some alcohol blending solution in a little mini mister bottle. Sometimes I just want to spray it on or drip it on. But for this, I'm going to pull the lid off and make sure there's only a tiny, tiny bit on that dipstick, and tap the end of it with my finger to add some tiny, tiny splatters of the alcohol blending solution. And that's just going to add, normally you'd add splatters and it adds color. Instead, those little splattery spots are going to kind of soften the color, so it's almost going to have a reverse effect. And it's just one more fun way to add a little touch of texture. And this background is going to be see that all that texture from adding those little splatters as well, the little spots that it cleared up. Now once that dried thoroughly, I've gone ahead and stamped that bird image just on white cardstock, and I fussy cut it out with my scissors, and then I stamped my sentiment on the vellum and heat embossed it with gold embossing powder, wrapped it around the back of that alcohol ink panel. Then I added a few sequins and I attached that bird with foam adhesive over the top, and then adhered the entire thing to a white card base to finish it off. Simple and fun. I hope you're not getting tired of alcohol inks yet. I might have a few more up my sleeve. Thanks so much for coming by. Have a wonderful day.